My friends, today I want to talk to you about a month that is sacred to over 1 billion people across the world, a month of fasting, prayer, and deep reflection. That month is Ramadan. And I want to tell you why it is considered the holiest month of the year. Ramadan is the holiest month in Islam, a time of deep spiritual significance for over 1 billion people worldwide. It is a sacred period that Muslims observe with devotion, reflection, and self-discipline. But why is Ramadan considered the holiest month of the year? To understand this, we must look at its origin, its purpose, and the profound impact it has on the lives of those who observe it. At the heart of Ramadan's holiness is a divine event that took place over 1,400 years ago. It was during this month that the Quran, the holy book of Islam, was first revealed to the Prophet Muhammad. This moment is known as Laylat al-Qadr, or the night of power, a night described in the Quran as better than 1,000 months. Muslims believe that on this night, God sent down his guidance for humanity, a message of faith, morality, and righteousness. Because of this, Ramadan is not just another month on the calendar. It is a time when the heavens opened, when light broke through darkness, and when mankind was given a path to divine wisdom. Muslims believe that Ramadan is a month of mercy, a time when the gates of heaven are opened, the gates of hell are closed, and the devils are chained. It is a season of opportunity where believers seek to purify their hearts, renew their faith, and draw closer to their Creator. It is not just about rituals, it is about transformation. A person who enters Ramadan is not meant to leave it the same way. It is a journey of the soul, a test of patience, and an exercise in spiritual strength. One of the most well-known aspects of Ramadan is fasting from sunrise to sunset. But fasting is not simply about giving up food and drink. It is about something much deeper. It is about self-control, discipline, and learning to put the needs of the soul before the desires of the body. When a person abstains from eating, drinking, and even negative behaviors such as gossip or anger, they begin to realize that their physical cravings do not control them. Instead, they become aware of their spiritual side, their connection to God, and their responsibility to live a righteous life. Fasting also teaches gratitude. In many parts of the world, people go hungry not because they choose to fast, but because they have no food to eat. When Muslims experience hunger during Ramadan, they gain a greater appreciation for the blessings they often take for granted. This awareness leads to an outpouring of generosity, giving to the poor, feeding the hungry, and helping those in need. Ramadan is a time of charity, of looking beyond oneself and serving others. It is a time when the community comes together, united in faith and compassion. But the holiness of Ramadan is not just about what happens during the day. It is also about what happens at night. As the sun sets and the fast is broken, Muslims gather to pray, to read the Quran, and to seek forgiveness. Many spend extra time in worship, performing special prayers known as Taraweeh, which are offered only during this month. The night is filled with devotion, a time when believers pour out their hearts to God, asking for guidance, mercy, and strength. For many, the most sacred moment of Ramadan is Laylat al-Qadr. It is believed to fall within the last 10 nights of the month, and it is a time of intense prayer and supplication. Muslims believe that on this night their prayers are multiplied, their sins are forgiven, and their destinies for the coming year are written. The Quran describes this night as peace until the emergence of dawn. It is a night unlike any other, a moment when heaven touches earth, when God's mercy is at its peak, and when the believer's faith is renewed. Ramadan's holiness is also reflected in the way it brings people together. Families gather for meals, mosques are filled with worshipers, and communities unite in acts of kindness and charity. The spirit of Ramadan is one of love, forgiveness, and renewal. It is a time when grudges are let go, when broken relationships are mended, and when people strive to be the best versions of themselves. As Ramadan comes to an end, there is a sense of both joy and sadness. Joy because it concludes with Eid al-Fitr, a day of celebration, feasting, and gratitude. But also sadness because the month of blessings is coming to a close. The true purpose of Ramadan is not just to be observed for 30 days. It is to leave a lasting impact. A person who has truly experienced the holiness of Ramadan carries its lessons beyond the month, striving to maintain the discipline, kindness, and faith they cultivated. Ultimately, Ramadan is considered the holiest month of the year because it is a time when believers step away from worldly distractions and turn their hearts toward God. It is a month of divine revelation, a time of mercy, a season of forgiveness, and an opportunity for spiritual rebirth. It is a reminder that life is temporary, but faith is eternal. And in the end, what truly matters is not how much we own, how much we eat, or how much we achieve, but how close we are to our Creator. Fasting during Ramadan is one of the most well-known and significant acts of worship in Islam. However, it is far more than simply refraining from food and drink from sunrise to sunset. At its core, fasting is about spiritual growth, self-discipline, and drawing closer to God. It is a deeply transformative experience that teaches patience, humility, and gratitude while purifying the soul from sin. The physical act of fasting may seem difficult to some, but it is not meant to be a burden. Instead, it serves as a reminder that human beings are more than just their physical needs. We live in a world that constantly urges us to satisfy our desires, whether for food, wealth, or pleasure. But Ramadan calls upon believers to step away from these distractions and focus on something greater, their relationship with God. When a person fasts, they are reminded that their body is temporary, but their soul is eternal. They begin to see life from a different perspective, one that is not centered on material comfort, but on spiritual fulfillment. Fasting is not just about avoiding food and drink, it is about purifying the heart. A person may abstain from eating, but if they continue to lie, gossip, or treat others with disrespect, their fast loses its true purpose. That is why Ramadan teaches self-restraint in every aspect of life. It encourages believers to guard their tongues, control their tempers, and resist sinful behaviors. The Prophet Muhammad taught that if someone is fasting and another person insults them or tries to provoke them, they should simply respond, "I am fasting." This shows that Ramadan is a training ground for patience, teaching people to rise above anger and negativity. One of the greatest lessons of fasting is humility. When a person experiences hunger, even for a few hours, they begin to understand the struggles of those who go hungry every day. It is easy to take food for granted when it is always available, but Ramadan serves as a powerful reminder of the blessings we have. This realization fosters empathy and compassion, inspiring people to help those in need. That is why charity is such an important part of Ramadan. Many people give generously to the poor, donate food to the hungry, and support charitable causes. They do so not just because it is a duty, but because fasting has opened their hearts to the struggles of others. Gratitude is another key lesson of fasting. When a person fasts, they begin to appreciate even the simplest things: a sip of water, a bite of bread, the warmth of family gathered around a meal. The things that once seemed ordinary suddenly feel like gifts. This heightened sense of gratitude extends beyond Ramadan, helping people develop a more thankful and content mindset in their daily lives. In a world that constantly tells us we need more money, more success, more possessions, fasting teaches that true happiness comes from appreciating what we already have. Fasting also strengthens a person's faith. It is a test of willpower, and each day a person successfully completes their fast, they grow in confidence and spiritual strength. By willingly giving up their physical needs for the sake of God, they develop a deeper connection with their Creator. This spiritual discipline is not limited to Ramadan. It prepares believers to continue their journey of faith throughout the year. When faced with challenges, they remember the strength they built during Ramadan and draw upon it in difficult times. At the end of each day, when the fast is broken, there is a profound sense of joy and accomplishment. But the real joy of fasting is not just in eating again, it is in knowing that one has overcome temptation, resisted distractions, and spent the day in devotion. The Prophet Muhammad described the fasting person as experiencing two moments of happiness. One when they break their fast, and the other when they meet their Lord. This highlights the deeper meaning of fasting. It is not just a physical exercise, but a spiritual journey that brings a person closer to God. Another powerful aspect of fasting is how it unites people. Throughout Ramadan, families gather for meals, communities come together in prayer, and the entire Muslim world shares in the same experience. It is a reminder that faith is not practiced in isolation, but as part of a larger community. People from different backgrounds, cultures, and walks of life all fast together, reinforcing the bonds of brotherhood and sisterhood. No matter how different they may be in their daily lives, during Ramadan, they stand equal before God, experiencing the same hunger, the same challenges, and the same spiritual renewal. Ultimately, fasting in Ramadan is a powerful act of worship that goes beyond the physical. It is about discipline, humility, gratitude, and self-improvement. It teaches people to let go of bad habits, to focus on their faith, and to become better versions of themselves. It is a month-long journey that leaves a lasting impact, shaping the hearts and minds of those who observe it. Through fasting, people not only grow in their personal faith, but they also develop a deeper sense of compassion for others and a greater appreciation for the blessings in their lives. It is in this spiritual transformation that the true power of Ramadan lies. Discipline and self-control are at the heart of Ramadan. While fasting is the most visible aspect of this holy month, the true purpose goes far beyond abstaining from food and drink. Ramadan is a period of spiritual training where believers learn to master their desires, control their impulses, and develop a sense of inner strength. It is a time of reflection, self-restraint, and personal growth where the focus shifts from worldly distractions to a deeper connection with God. In daily life, people are often driven by their cravings, whether for food, entertainment, or material possessions. The modern world encourages instant gratification, where people seek comfort and pleasure at every moment. However, Ramadan teaches the opposite. It calls upon believers to step back from indulgence and practice restraint. By voluntarily giving up their most basic needs during the day, they train themselves to resist not only physical hunger, but also spiritual weaknesses. One of the most profound lessons of Ramadan is learning to say no to temptation. When a person fasts, they feel the pangs of hunger and thirst, yet they do not give in. They may feel irritated or tired, yet they practice patience. They may face conflicts, yet they respond with kindness. This daily exercise in self-control strengthens the mind and spirit, making a person more resilient in all aspects of life. The discipline developed during Ramadan does not just disappear when the month ends. It carries over into the rest of the year, helping believers maintain a stronger moral and spiritual foundation. Beyond food and drink, Ramadan also requires restraint in speech, actions, and thoughts. A person may be fasting, but if they engage in gossip, lying, or anger, their fast loses its true meaning. The Prophet Muhammad emphasized that fasting is not only about avoiding eating and drinking, but also about refraining from sinful behavior. This is why self-restraint during Ramadan extends to how one interacts with others. If someone provokes or insults a fasting person, they are advised to simply say, "I am fasting," and walk away. This practice reinforces patience and humility, teaching that true strength is not in responding with anger, but in maintaining composure and kindness. Ramadan also instills discipline in how people manage their time. The structured routine of fasting requires waking up early before dawn to eat, suhoor, observing prayer times throughout the day, and breaking the fast at sunset, iftar. Many also engage in extra prayers at night, such as Taraweeh, and increase their recitation of the Quran. This structured daily schedule helps believers develop a sense of responsibility and time management. They become more mindful of their daily actions, ensuring that each moment is spent in a way that benefits their spiritual and personal growth. Another important aspect of self-control during Ramadan is learning to resist negative emotions. The hunger and fatigue that come with fasting can sometimes lead to irritability, but the discipline of Ramadan teaches believers to remain patient and calm even in difficult situations. By practicing emotional control, they develop a greater sense of inner peace, which helps them handle life's challenges with a more balanced and thoughtful approach. Ramadan also teaches moderation. In a world that often encourages overindulgence, whether in food, wealth, or entertainment, fasting reminds people of the importance of balance. When breaking the fast at sunset, Muslims are encouraged not to overeat, but to eat in moderation. This principle extends to other areas of life as well, reminding people not to be consumed by their desires, but to approach everything with a sense of self-discipline and gratitude. Another lesson in discipline comes from the commitment to prayer and worship during Ramadan. While some may struggle to maintain regular prayers during the rest of the year, Ramadan provides an opportunity to reestablish this essential connection with God. Many believers make extra efforts to engage in night prayers, read the Quran, and seek forgiveness. This daily dedication strengthens their faith and helps them build consistent spiritual habits that last beyond Ramadan. The discipline learned in Ramadan is not just about personal improvement, but also about building stronger relationships with others. By practicing self-control, believers become more patient, understanding, and compassionate toward those around them. The emphasis on kindness, generosity, and avoiding conflict fosters a sense of unity within families and communities. It reminds people that true strength lies not in power or dominance, but in humility, self-restraint, and a willingness to put others before oneself. At its core, Ramadan teaches that discipline is the key to a fulfilling and meaningful life. When a person learns to control their desires, they gain the ability to make better choices, avoid harmful behaviors, and focus on what truly matters. The lessons of Ramadan extend far beyond the month itself, shaping character, strengthening faith, and guiding believers toward a life of greater purpose and self-awareness. Through fasting, prayer, and self-discipline, a person not only becomes closer to God, but also becomes the best version of themselves. Prayer and worship are at the heart of Ramadan, making it a deeply spiritual time for Muslims around the world. While fasting is the most visible aspect of Ramadan, it is through prayer and devotion that believers truly experience the essence of this sacred month. Ramadan is a time to strengthen one's connection with God, seek forgiveness, and renew one's faith. It is a period of reflection, self-improvement, and spiritual purification, where worship takes on a deeper meaning and becomes the center of daily life. One of the most important prayers in Islam is the 5 daily prayers, known as Salah. These prayers are obligatory for all Muslims and are performed throughout the year. But during Ramadan, there is an increased sense of devotion and mindfulness in prayer. Since fasting requires self-control and discipline, it naturally brings believers closer to God, making their prayers more sincere and heartfelt. Many Muslims take extra care in performing their prayers on time, reflecting on their meaning and ensuring that their connection with God is strong throughout the day. In addition to the 5 daily prayers, a special prayer called Taraweeh is performed during Ramadan. Taraweeh is an additional night prayer held in mosques where long portions of the Quran are recited. These prayers can last for an extended period, sometimes taking hours to complete, yet they are embraced with enthusiasm and dedication. The experience of standing in prayer, listening to the recitation of the Quran, and being surrounded by fellow worshipers creates a powerful sense of unity and devotion. It is a reminder that Ramadan is not just about personal growth, but also about strengthening the bonds of community and faith. One of the most spiritually significant moments in Ramadan is Laylat al-Qadr, also known as the Night of Power. This night, which falls within the last 10 days of the month, is described in the Quran as being better than 1,000 months. It is believed to be the night when the first verses of the Quran were revealed to the Prophet Muhammad, marking the beginning of God's final message to humanity. Muslims believe that on this night their prayers, supplications, and good deeds are multiplied, and that it is a unique opportunity to seek forgiveness and mercy. Many believers spend the entire night in prayer, reciting the Quran and making heartfelt supplications, hoping to receive the blessings and rewards of this sacred night. Reciting and reflecting on the Quran is another essential part of worship during Ramadan. Since the Quran was first revealed during this month, many Muslims aim to read and complete the entire book before Ramadan ends. Some set personal goals to read a certain number of chapters each day, while others attend Taraweeh prayers, where the Quran is recited aloud. The act of reading the Quran with understanding and contemplation allows believers to connect deeply with its teachings and apply its wisdom to their lives. It serves as a reminder of the values of kindness, patience, honesty, and faith that should guide their actions every day. Seeking forgiveness is another crucial aspect of worship during Ramadan. Muslims believe that God's mercy is abundant in this month and that sincere repentance can wipe away past sins. Many believers increase their prayers for forgiveness, asking God to purify their hearts and grant them a fresh start. This practice of self-reflection encourages humility as it reminds people of their shortcomings and their need for divine guidance. It is a time to let go of past mistakes, mend broken relationships, and strive to become better individuals. Charity and generosity are also considered acts of worship in Ramadan. Giving to those in need is a fundamental teaching of Islam. And during this month, Muslims are encouraged to be even more generous. Many donate Zakat, obligatory charity, and Sadaqah, voluntary charity, to help the poor, provide meals for those who are fasting, and support community initiatives. The act of giving is seen as a form of worship, as it reflects gratitude for God's blessings and fulfills the duty of caring for others. This generosity strengthens the sense of brotherhood and compassion within the community. Personal supplication, known as dua, is another deeply significant form of worship in Ramadan. Muslims are encouraged to speak directly to God, expressing their hopes, fears, and desires. They pray for themselves, their families, and the well-being of the world. The sincerity of dua is heightened during Ramadan as believers feel a closer connection to God and a stronger belief in the power of prayer. The Prophet Muhammad encouraged making dua often, especially during fasting and in the last third of the night, when prayers are believed to be more likely to be accepted. Ramadan is also a time to detach from worldly distractions and focus on spiritual improvement. Many Muslims limit their time spent on entertainment, social media, and other distractions so that they can dedicate more time to worship. Some choose to perform itikaf, a spiritual retreat in a mosque during the last 10 days of Ramadan, where they dedicate themselves entirely to prayer, Quran recitation, and contemplation. This period of isolation from daily distractions allows believers to deepen their connection with God and gain a renewed sense of purpose. Ultimately, prayer and worship in Ramadan are about transforming one's relationship with God. It is a time to turn away from sin, seek forgiveness, and build a stronger spiritual foundation. The habits developed in Ramadan, consistent prayer, reading are meant to extend beyond the month itself, shaping a person's faith for the rest of the year. Through increased devotion, self-discipline, and mindfulness, Ramadan becomes not just a period of worship, but a life-changing experience that draws believers closer to God and strengthens their faith. Charity and generosity are fundamental principles of Ramadan, making it a time of heightened compassion and selflessness. While fasting teaches self-discipline and patience, it also serves as a powerful reminder of the struggles faced by those who are less fortunate. During Ramadan, Muslims are encouraged to give generously, not just through financial contributions, but also through acts of kindness, service, and care for others. This emphasis on charity strengthens the bonds of community, fosters a spirit of gratitude, and fulfills the duty of helping those in need. One of the most important forms of charity in Islam is zakat, which is an obligatory annual donation of a portion of one's wealth to those in need. Muslims who meet the financial threshold are required to give 2.5% of their savings to the poor, the needy, or other charitable causes. Ramadan is the time when many Muslims choose to fulfill this obligation, as good deeds are believed to be multiplied in reward during this sacred month. By giving zakat, believers purify their wealth, acknowledging that all blessings come from God and that they have a responsibility to share with those who are less fortunate. In addition to zakat, there is also sadaqah, which refers to voluntary charity. Unlike zakat, which has specific guidelines, sadaqah can be given in any amount and in various forms. Some people donate money while others provide food, clothing, or other essentials to those in need. Sadaqah can also be as simple as offering a kind word, helping someone in distress, or showing compassion toward others. Ramadan encourages Muslims to increase their acts of sadaqah, reminding them that true generosity is not measured by the size of the gift, but by the sincerity behind it. One of the most beautiful traditions of Ramadan is the practice of feeding the hungry. Many mosques and charitable organizations arrange iftar, the meal to break the fast for those who cannot afford a proper meal. Families prepare extra food to share with neighbors, travelers, and the less fortunate. In some communities, food stalls are set up specifically to distribute free meals to those in need. The Prophet Muhammad emphasized the reward of feeding a fasting person, stating that whoever provides iftar for another receives the same reward as the fasting person without diminishing their own reward. This creates a culture of generosity where people eagerly seek opportunities to help others. Charity during Ramadan extends beyond financial assistance. It is also about giving one's time and energy for the benefit of others. Many people engage in volunteer work, helping at shelters, organizing donation drives, or assisting those who are elderly or sick. Acts of kindness, such as visiting the lonely, comforting those who are grieving, or simply listening to someone in need, carry great spiritual significance. The essence of charity in Ramadan is not just about fulfilling a duty, but about developing a sincere concern for the well-being of others. Ramadan also fosters a sense of social responsibility. It reminds people that wealth and comfort are not guaranteed and that hardships can befall anyone. This realization creates a sense of humility and gratitude, motivating individuals to use their resources wisely and to contribute to the greater good. The month serves as a wake-up call, encouraging people to reflect on their privileges and to recognize their duty to support those who are struggling. Generosity in Ramadan is not limited to individual actions. It also strengthens community bonds. When people come together to help others, whether by organizing food drives, fundraising for important causes, or simply supporting each other in daily life, a spirit of unity is created. The collective effort to give and care for others fosters a sense of belonging and strengthens the fabric of society. The lessons of charity in Ramadan are meant to extend beyond the month itself. While giving is emphasized during this sacred time, the values of generosity, kindness, and empathy should be practiced throughout the year. Ramadan serves as a powerful reminder that true wealth is not measured by how much one possesses, but by how much one gives. The satisfaction of helping others, the gratitude for one's own blessings, and the knowledge that one is fulfilling a divine command bring a deeper sense of fulfillment and purpose. In the end, Ramadan is not just about personal growth, but about uplifting others. Charity and generosity are at the heart of this sacred month, reminding believers that their wealth, time, and abilities are gifts entrusted to them by God. By sharing these blessings, they not only ease the burdens of those in need, but also enrich their own souls. Through acts of kindness, giving, and compassion, Ramadan becomes a time of transformation, not just for individuals, but for entire communities, creating a world where love, generosity, and empathy thrive. Ramadan is a time of deep spiritual reflection and self-improvement, a period when believers step back from their daily routines to evaluate their relationship with God, their character, and their actions. It is a time to cleanse the soul, seek forgiveness, and make sincere efforts to become a better person. Through fasting, prayer, and acts of kindness, Ramadan serves as a powerful reminder that life is not just about material pursuits, but about spiritual growth and self-discipline. One of the most important aspects of spiritual reflection during Ramadan is self-examination. In the rush of daily life, people often become consumed by their responsibilities, ambitions, and distractions, leaving little time to assess their personal growth. Ramadan provides an opportunity to pause and reflect on one's thoughts, behaviors, and priorities. It encourages believers to ask themselves important questions. Am I living according to my faith? Am I fulfilling my responsibilities to God and to others? Am I using my time wisely? These moments of introspection allow individuals to identify areas where they need improvement and to make sincere efforts to change. Seeking forgiveness is a key part of spiritual reflection in Ramadan. Everyone makes mistakes, but this holy month is a time to acknowledge those mistakes and turn back to God in repentance. Islam teaches that God is the most forgiving and that His mercy is vast, especially during Ramadan. Muslims are encouraged to repent sincerely, asking God for forgiveness for their past wrongdoings and committing to making positive changes in their lives. This process is not just about saying words of repentance, but about feeling a deep sense of remorse and making a genuine effort to avoid repeating past mistakes. The act of seeking forgiveness also extends to human relationships. Ramadan is a time to mend broken ties, resolve conflicts, and seek reconciliation with those whom one may have wronged. The heightened spirituality of Ramadan also encourages believers to develop good habits and strengthen their faith. Many people make a conscious effort to increase their acts of worship, such as reading the Quran, performing extra prayers, and making supplications. These practices help purify the heart and bring a sense of inner peace. The goal is not only to engage in these acts during Ramadan, but to carry them forward into daily life beyond the month. The discipline and devotion cultivated during this period serve as a foundation for long-term spiritual growth. Another important element of self-improvement in Ramadan is controlling one's desires and emotions. Fasting is not just about refraining from food and drink. It is also about restraining one's temper, avoiding gossip, and maintaining purity of thought and action. The Prophet Muhammad taught that if a person is fasting, they should not engage in arguments or negative speech. If someone tries to provoke them, they should simply respond, "I am fasting." This practice teaches patience and self-control, which are essential qualities for leading a good and balanced life. Spiritual reflection in Ramadan also helps individuals detach from materialism. In today's world, many people measure success by wealth, possessions, and social status. Ramadan reminds believers that true success lies not in accumulating material goods, but in developing a strong relationship with God and living a life of integrity and purpose. By fasting and simplifying their lifestyle, people realize that they do not need excessive luxuries to be content. They learn to appreciate the simple blessings in life and to focus on what truly matters: faith, family, and good deeds. One of the greatest lessons of Ramadan is gratitude. When a person experiences hunger and thirst, they develop a deeper appreciation for the blessings they often take for granted: food, clean water, shelter, and good health. This sense of gratitude extends beyond physical needs and leads to a greater awareness of the many other gifts in life, such as the love of family, the opportunity to worship, and the ability to help others. Gratitude is a powerful force that transforms one's perspective, shifting the focus from what is lacking to what is already present. Ramadan also fosters a strong sense of humility. It reminds believers that they are dependent on God for everything, and that no matter how successful or powerful they may be, they are still in need of His guidance and mercy. This realization encourages people to be more humble in their interactions with others, to treat everyone with kindness and respect, and to avoid arrogance and pride. True greatness, according to Islam, does not come from wealth or status, but from piety and good character. Another aspect of self-improvement in Ramadan is setting personal and spiritual goals. Many Muslims use this month as a time to break bad habits and establish new positive routines. Whether it is quitting harmful behaviors, improving time management, or becoming more compassionate, Ramadan provides a focused period for self-discipline and growth. The habits developed during this time can have a lasting impact shaping a person's character and guiding their actions long after Ramadan has ended. Ultimately, Ramadan is a journey of self-discovery and transformation. It is a time to renew one's faith, cleanse the heart of negativity, and strive to become a better version of oneself. Through fasting, prayer, and reflection, believers strengthen their connection with God and develop qualities that help them lead more meaningful and fulfilling lives. The lessons of Ramadan, patience, gratitude, humility, and self-control are not meant to be practiced for just 1 month, but to become a way of life. Ramadan serves as a reminder that true success lies not in worldly achievements, but in a heart that is pure, a soul that is content, and a life that is dedicated to faith and righteousness. Ramadan is a time of unity and togetherness, bringing families, communities, and people from all walks of life closer to one another. In a world where individuals often become caught up in their personal struggles and daily routines, this sacred month provides an opportunity to reconnect with loved ones, neighbors, and the broader community. The collective experience of fasting, worship, and reflection strengthens relationships and fosters a deep sense of belonging and brotherhood among believers. One of the most beautiful aspects of Ramadan is the way it strengthens family bonds. Families come together to share suhoor, the pre-dawn meal, and iftar, the meal to break the fast, creating moments of togetherness that are often difficult to maintain in the busyness of daily life. These shared meals become cherished traditions where family members sit together, pray, and express gratitude for the blessings they have. For many, Ramadan is a rare time when the entire household gathers around the table, free from the distractions of work, school, and technology, allowing for meaningful conversations and deeper connections. Beyond family, Ramadan also brings communities together. Mosques are filled with worshipers as people gather for Taraweeh prayers, Quran recitation, and religious lectures. The shared experience of praying side by side, listening to the recitation of the Quran, and seeking spiritual growth creates a powerful sense of unity. Muslims from different backgrounds, ethnicities, and social classes stand shoulder to shoulder, reminding one another that faith transcends worldly divisions. This communal spirit fosters an environment of kindness, understanding, and support, as people encourage one another in their worship and personal growth. One of the most significant ways that Ramadan promotes unity is through acts of charity and generosity. This month highlights the importance of caring for the less fortunate, and many people come together to organize food drives, provide meals for the needy, and contribute to charitable causes. Community members join hands to ensure that no one goes hungry and that those struggling financially receive the support they need. The act of giving is not limited to individuals. Entire families, organizations, and businesses participate in charitable efforts, creating a spirit of collective generosity that extends beyond personal interests. Ramadan also strengthens the bonds between neighbors. In many cultures, it is common for families to exchange food with their neighbors, ensuring that everyone has enough to break their fast. This simple yet meaningful gesture fosters goodwill and deepens relationships. It is also a time when differences are set aside, as people focus on what unites them rather than what separates them. Even in places where people may not know their neighbors well, Ramadan provides an opportunity to reach out, extend kindness, and build a stronger sense of community. The sense of togetherness in Ramadan is not limited to Muslims alone. Many people of different faiths and backgrounds are invited to iftar gatherings, where they have the opportunity to learn about Ramadan, experience the spirit of the month, and share in the joy of breaking the fast. These interactions promote interfaith understanding, breaking down misconceptions, and fostering respect and harmony. The hospitality and warmth shown during Ramadan create an environment where people of all backgrounds feel welcome and valued, In addition to strengthening personal relationships, Ramadan also deepens the connection between believers and their faith. The shared experience of fasting, praying, and reflecting on the teachings of Islam brings people closer to God and to one another. It serves as a reminder that despite life's challenges, believers are never alone. They are part of a larger spiritual family that supports and uplifts one another. This sense of belonging provides comfort and motivation, encouraging individuals to continue their journey of faith beyond the month of Ramadan. Technology has also played a role in fostering unity during Ramadan. With the rise of social media and virtual connections, Muslims around the world can share their Ramadan experiences, offer words of encouragement, and participate in online religious discussions. Families who live far apart can connect through video calls during iftar, and communities can organize virtual gatherings to discuss faith and spirituality. While nothing can replace in-person interactions, these digital connections help maintain the spirit of togetherness, even across great distances. Another aspect of unity in Ramadan is the practice of forgiving and seeking reconciliation. This month is a time for healing relationships, letting go of grudges, and seeking forgiveness from others. Many people take the opportunity to mend broken ties with family members, friends, and colleagues, recognizing that life is too short to hold on to past conflicts. By embracing forgiveness and compassion, individuals strengthen their relationships and create an atmosphere of peace and understanding. As Ramadan comes to an end, the unity it fosters is celebrated with Eid al-Fitr, a joyous festival marking the conclusion of the fasting period. Families and communities gather to pray, exchange gifts, and share meals, reinforcing the bonds that have been strengthened throughout the month. The joy of Eid is not just about celebrating the end of fasting, but about cherishing the sense of togetherness that Ramadan has nurtured. Ultimately, Ramadan is a reminder that human connection is one of life's greatest blessings. It teaches that faith is not just a personal journey, but a shared experience that brings people together in worship, charity, and kindness. The unity cultivated in this holy month does not end when Ramadan concludes. Rather, it serves as a foundation for maintaining strong relationships, building compassionate communities, and fostering a spirit of love and togetherness throughout the year.